understand some students say, well, boy, why not us? But I tried to explain why not you and why the freshmen. Now, the other question that I understand, you might be thinking, well, if the college a year from now decides we are going to require iPads for all of our students, are they going to buy one for all of us? Well, first of all, that's hypothetical. Are we going to require it? That remains to be seen. Quite frankly, I made a bet with another administrator that 1 year from now, the iPad will be outdated and there will be something else we'll be talking about. But nonetheless, if, and this is a huge if we require you to do something with the iPad or any other piece of technology, we have some kind of responsibility to help you finance that. But I understand that question. Then the third point that I'll make, and then I'll entertain any questions that perhaps the provost wants to chat, is Stashi isn't here tonight. I don't see her. But she asked a great question. I wish you were here. But she asked me a great question last Thursday at the executive committee. She said, well, I don't have a problem with experimenting and exploring and this, that, and the other, but before we go into any new technology, before we make any new expenditures, even though it's a one-time designated gift from a donor, we have some technology needs on our campus right now. That's what she told me last Thursday, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. I've signed so many purchase orders for new computers for the faculty, computers for some administrative offices, hundreds of thousands of dollars of upgrades in the Hudson Science Center, in the Apple Lab. What is she talking about? So I asked her, well, what are you talking about? And she told me. She says, well, I'm in the resin hall, and the computers in the little labs in the resin halls are really outdated. And they're not working that well, and it's really unfortunate, and why don't you do something about that? And I honestly told her I wasn't aware of the condition of the labs in the resin halls. I said, but give me a couple of days, and by Tuesday night, I'll come here and have some answer for you. So Friday, the next day, I went into some of the resin halls and looked in the labs in there, and she was right. They're pretty outdated, they're pretty old. In fact, some of them are pretty sorry. And I didn't know why. So I went to the IT department and I said, do you know the type of technology we have in some of these resin halls? And they said, yes. I was told it was the last item on the food chain. We start with the faculty first, the administrative offices, then the student labs in Apple and so on. And by the time we get to the equipment in the resin halls, it's hand-me-downs. It's pretty old stuff. So I said, well, we don't have that many machines in each lab in the resin halls. Why don't we buy new computers for those labs? And IT people said they'd like to do it, but they didn't have any money in their budget. I said, well, let me check on it. So I go down and talk then with our Vice President of Finance, Mr. Mann. And I says, Jack, we need to buy some new computers in these resin hall labs. And he says, well, where's the budget? I said, well, I don't know. You're the finance guy. Is there anything in the budget? And he says, we haven't budgeted anything for it. And I said, well, the cost would be relatively small. In its services students who do not bring their own computers here. So I think we need to make some reallocation of resources somewhere. We need to find that money somewhere, even if it means taking money from column A and giving it to column B. And he agreed. And we talked to IT. And we have already been in touch with vendors. We're in the process of purchasing new computers for all of the little labs, and they're small, 4 or 5 units, in the resin halls. So Stashi raised a very, very good question. And I told her I'd find the answer, and we've got the answer, and we're going to do that. Now, my point is this, and then I'll be quiet here. Every single day, Dean White, the provost, the senior staff, every day we ask ourselves, how can we enhance the quality of life for you students? We ask ourselves that every single day, and every decision we make is we try to make the decisions in the best interest of the institution. Now, we can't satisfy everyone, and we can't respond to all needs, but I guess some of us were taken off guard when we saw some reports in the newspaper, when we heard some student comments, angry, bitter, like, wow, what are they doing? Why do they want to do this? Frankly, I received some calls and emails from some Hood graduates who get the paper, and they said, well, President Volpe, what's going on? Why is everybody up in arms about the iPad? I think it's kind of interesting that the college would go out and buy these for students and experiment and keep doing something. So administratively, we were kind of taken off guard. Now, I know some faculty are opposed to this, and that's okay. But remember, this is an experiment. No faculty is required to do this. If they don't want to, they don't have to do it. We're bringing people in and training them, upgrading. So I guess administratively, we thought we were doing something positive. We thought we were continuing to try to keep Hood College on the cutting edge of technology. Where we go with this, we really don't know, but that was the mindset that we had. So where we sit now is this technology, whether I like it or not, and I don't like it, but whether I like it or not, it's changing the way we communicate, the way we teach, the way we learn, and it's here to stay. So administratively, we're trying to do all we can to provide the right technology resources for our students and for our faculty. The iPad may not be in that decision-making mode. As I stand here, I don't know the future of the iPad, and I won't be deciding it. After students and faculty continue to debate, discuss, explore, visit other schools, we'll make some decision down the road. In the meantime, however, we think technology is so important that whether it's the 24 smart classrooms that we put in the past few years, whether it's upgrading Hudson, whether it's upgrading the Apple Lab, whether it's upgrading the labs in the resident halls, I think we have a responsibility, within reason, given the limited resources we have, to provide you with as much of the technology as we possibly can. And as the technology changes, which is frequent, we need to try to find ways to continue to provide that for you. So that was the mindset that the administration went through some months ago, and I was just a little taken back when it seemed like we tried to do something which we thought would be positive, and we kind of got slapped back with some folks. Now, on the other hand, a number of students have said they thought that was a good thing, and a number of your faculty right now are currently using iPads in their own class. So that's what we do in higher education. We experiment, we explore, we debate, we discuss, and at some point we decide. And the we who decide will be potential users, the students and faculty. And so that's this whole iPad story. And maybe I should stop there. And Dr. Turner, would you like to add anything to that?
Everything. We have some questions.
Okay.
We have a motion. I move that we limit discussion to 1 minute per person.
Boy, you probably should have made that before I spoke, huh?
Not you, of course.
Okay.
Second. It's been moved and second that we limit.
What? I want to ask a question.
Okay. We're going to have a discussion on the iPads in which each person will have 1 minute to speak if you would like to. It's been moved and seconded that we limit debate to 1 minute per person. Is there any discussion on the floor?
Who seconded?
Megan. Is there any discussion on the floor? Okay. Since there's no discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
I wanted to ask a question.
Yes. A question about voting?
What?
Is it a question about voting or a question about the iPad?
Oh, yeah, it's a question about the answer.
Okay, 1 second, okay. Since there is no further discussion before we move to a vote, all those opposed, wave your thing, if you're a senator.
What?
I mean, okay, all those in favor?
Limiting discussion. Well, I didn't want one of those.
You could be a senator to vote.
Yeah, I am a senator.
Opposed?
Wait, I didn't.
Okay.
You're getting.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, I'll say Megan. We're going to have a discussion about the iPad. The motion on the floor is to limit debate to 1 minute per person. Is there any discussion on the floor about this motion? Since there's no discussion, we'll move to a vote.
I have a question about it.
Yes.
If we limit it to 1 minute per person, what if the answer is more in depth than 1 minute would require it to be?
Can you say that one more time?
Well, what if the answer takes longer than a minute to explain
The question is limited to a minute.
The question is limited.
Not the
Yes.
answer.
Just the question.
Only the questions.
Only the question.
Yes. The answers can be to it's okay.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the floor? Since there's no discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. You raise your hand, class.
Okay, sir. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, the motion carries. You have first priority to speak if you would like, or you can pass. Okay. Anyone else? Who would like to speak? Go ahead.
Well, it's just a quick question. Oh, I just have a quick question, very quick. You didn't say, because you were talking about getting the new computers in the residence hall. When would that go into, like, when would that happen?
The question is, when do we expect those new machines to go in the resident lab? Well, we've talked with the vendor, I've signed the paperwork, and you know, I can't promise in the next day or two or three, but I would be you know, very disappointed if we didn't have them in the next few weeks. And let's follow up. And some of the students the other night heard me say this. You know, I live on campus. You people see me all over the campus. I'm in the dining room, but I don't know everything. I don't know everything that the campus needs and what's going on. So I was surprised to learn of the state of the labs in the resident halls. And so what the senior team has always said is, look, I think you know all of us pretty well enough that we're approachable. You come up if you have an issue or a problem and lay it on us, and we'll tell you if we can fix it or if we can't, or if it's going to take a semester or a year, or if we have the money or we don't. So I was kind of saddened personally when I saw the conditions of those labs in some of the resident halls, that they were like that. But I admit I didn't know that, but no one had ever, did not get up the organization, if you will. So I applaud Stasha and some of the others last Thursday to informing us of that, because that helped us get to a situation.